And hello, we seem to be streaming. We'll just refresh the Twitch chat, check if we are live, not having any issues or lagging, audio cut out. It's problem with this platform is it's not very good at giving you feedback of how good your stream or quality of the internet or whatnot. It claims it's excellent. Chat room is open, free to join us. We've posted around the net to invite folk in. And just give me a couple of minutes. Ooh, it's not very good at giving you feedback of how good your stream or quality of the internet or whatnot. Oh, it's kind of laggy. It claims it's excellent. Chat room. Alright, we'll see how we go. Might have to shut down and start again, because it seems to be a bit laggy. Very sorry. Please bear with us. It's a couple of minutes. There we go. We're good. Yes. Yes, excellent. Ooh, it's not very good at... Oh, man, triple entendre. So put the tablet away, and we'll get straight into it. Welcome to the last day of Tank Week. We have vintage Challenger 76 scale British main battle tank, 1988 vintage, absolutely original. We're going to assemble, paint, decor, finish, make a video, and hopefully upload before midnight. The challenge has done very well. It has been very well received. I have not reached my goals or deadlines as desired of midnight every night, though at least I got the models to a standard that I was being very happy with, and I have been late quite a few times, though it has not been too much of an inconvenience. I've also got a Shisha Magular here. It's not quite warmed up yet, so I might my vapes are out of juice, so I'll be pulling from this. Don't think it's anything more on the illicit side. There's nothing to it. So I'm just going to have a quick tidy of my workstation. And I'm going to crack her open. And hammer it. I got a little feedback on my streaming the other night. I had a friend sit down and watch a few hours of it. I've always been a bit paranoid that it's not very entertaining, that might be a bit slow, dry, whatever. And he sat there captivated. And I was scribing some resin. And he was just at the edge of his seat. It's quite funny to watch. So that has given me renewed confidence in what I'm doing. So I'm very happy about that. I've also got a new toy that I'm going to play with. It looks a bit funny. It is a glass nail file, and I found it to be quite a joy to work with. Whoops. It's really, really smooth. It does a fine cut, and supposedly it's very clean, very easy to clean. The biggest disadvantage of glass is you drop it, it shatters. I'm in the carpeted studio. That's not a problem. When I work at other sites, that could be also of a problem. But we'll have a play with it. I bought it at a $2 shop for $2. It came with two. My mate Liam actually bought it, and he traded one to me for another object. I'm just blowing my thing. Don't worry about that. So after delivery of over 800 Chieftain main battle tanks to the British Army, variants were ordered by Iran, and Project FV4030 Chieftains for Iran began. In late February 1979, however, all orders were cancelled, but a later design, FV4030-2, was purchased by Jordan and named the Khalid. I'm bad with Middle Eastern pronunciation. Sorry about that. With deliveries beginning in 1980. Several prototypes of the Chieftain have been produced using a Crobenham armour. VF4030-3, and these were used as a basics for a new main battle tank. I'm not reading the numbers anymore, fuck that. This beginning ordered in 1980 as the Challenger. The Challenger has a full hull and turrets of armor, fuck pronunciation, and is believed to have the highest protection of any tank now in service. 1988. Don't know if the Abram was out. This is a British manufactured kit, so there could be a little biased leaning there, a little political saber rattling. That is quite hilarious. That there is just, it's precious. I'm glad I've recorded that. There's Livion de... Nah, French. Not doing that to myself. So the Challenger is a main battle tank that's mostly used in the Middle East. The fact that it was used in Jordan and Iran. I'm going to look up the Chieftain in Iran. See what that looks like. So that could be a really cool color scheme of a non-British variety. So we'll jump onto Google. So I'll add a screen. Window capture. Window capture. Good enough. You guys got a bit of an idea what I'm doing. www. This computer's a bit weird to have to do weird things. Actually, I don't even know why I did it in the search bar. I should have done it in... Oh, good enough. I don't care. So, Chieftain. Iran. Why is it back in Yahoo? Oh, man, this sucks. There we go. Hate Yahoo. Chieftain. Tank. Iran. See what an Iran Chieftain looks like. That's cool. Sand and green. You got a digital camouflage version. Not sure if we'll have time to do that. We could try. Could be really, really late. I really want to do a digital camouflage. Fuck it, we'll do a digital camouflage. That looks awesome. Yeah, that's cool as fuck. Yeah, I think we'll do it that way, man. That's pretty sick. So remove that capture. There we go. A little random sporadic research. Digital camouflage. We're going to have to use a clear coat, and we'll probably only have to allow 20 minutes, 40 minutes drying. But before we can even get anywhere near that, we're going to have to build the sucker. So, we've got 3 runners. Just take a photo. My shisha should be ready soon. It's almost ready. Not quite. That's alright. Take photos for the sake of the video. The detail is actually quite lovely for something this old. It's not bad. Not bad at all. The decals are fucked. No matter. We'll be using the Girls and Panzer one. Ah, fuck. It's got a million road wheels. Oh well. Actually, that's kind of clever. Get straight into clopping and slapping it together. Good old cutting out of the runners. Leaving a nice gap behind. And we're also looking for number 33, 34. Which happens to be these ones. I didn't recognize it from the rear. I thought it was a completely different part. It's gotten me. So, the Challenger is a very iconic tank of the Cold War to the modern era period. Mostly more modern. It's an export tank as well as British home used tank. Got re-equipped and reused over and over again. This is probably more of an earlier take of it. Now, we'll take advantage and use the glass file and just talk about how it's used. Now, normally, you can't really get a grasp of how nice something is unless you use it. These gems bother me. I'll probably get rid of it at some point. It's just beautifully smooth. And then we could just buff it up a bit with wet fine grit sandpaper. There you go. It goes into a party and a bonanza of, pardon me, removing nubs. Very smooth to use, and it's not getting any grit or crap stuck in the actual glass. Eventually the glass will wear out and it'll get smoother and smoother and smoother over time, but it's just going to last for a very long time. That's something I'm surprised has not reached the modelling world yet. A lot of metal files and whatnot, quite expensive. Though, yeah, I've never seen or heard of a glass file until a friend pulled it off the shelf and go, "Oh wow, Alan, do you know what that is?" When we raided a $2 shop. When you go to $2 shop or thrift shops or cheap places like that, it's good to go as a group of friends of modelers or craft people or whatever, because someone will take something off the shelf and go, "Oh, look at that," and everyone turns and go, "Oh, that's a good idea, not a good idea," and you have a debate in the middle of the shop. Where if you go through yourself, you may be looking for something else and you don't quite notice it. Going to hobby shops. Yes, you can spend a lot of money. In a group of friends or a club or something is also quite fun, as you know, you can get into talks and discussions and throw ideas around and go, "Yeah, it's good," or "Yeah, that's shit." and it's just generally a really fun social gathering. The file unfortunately won't get in there. So sandpaper away, ahoy. And it works out quite well. Red Bull flavour. It's a bit sharp, but that's due to the coal. But yeah, I like that. It's works. The Red Bull flavour seems to be very it's not very strong. It's nothing like apple, double apple, mint apple. Seems to be the strongest flavours. You do these things. The other ones are sort of just a lot more toned down, and it's sort of like not too impressed. So got that piece done. We'll just keep working so we don't run out of time. And I'm up all night again. That would suck. I didn't get to sleep until quite late last night due to uploading the picture of the E25 and the video and all that. It was well received, I believe. I really like how it came out. It came out beautifully. It's really fun and playful. And the fact that I found resources with this with digital camouflage. I've got some digital camouflage mask somewhere. I think it's in my decal box, so I've got an excuse to pull that out and slap it on this kit. And that could be very cool. Instead of applying 1,000 little small squares of Tamiya masking tape. Now that will take a while. We don't have the luxury of that time today, but we can achieve that finish with something I haven't used that I've been sitting on for many years. Works out to be absolutely perfect for our needs. Chuck on some decals and we're laughing. There we go. Cleaning. And in a very short period of time, we'll be gluing together our first 2 pieces. And we'll apply our extra thin cement and Tamiya extra thin. Just cut down on the nub mark, remove it to be as flat as I can so there's a bit of a mound. And then flatten it out with the glass file. Wet sandpaper, dry it out, and it's almost like there was never a nub there to begin with. Just check something for 3 seconds. Hello, if you've just joined the stream. We're building our final tank for Tank Week. This week I've built 6 tanks. Painted, finished, deckled them starting Monday. Or Sunday after 12 midnight. Up until this stage, it's building the 6 kits. Painting, finishing, doing a video, uploading the pictures, all the social media stuff. It has been very tiring, very tough. I don't have no idea how other YouTubers, Gundam Snappers and other people, they could do half a dozen models a week, videos, everything, and upload them. It must be really disciplined, efficient, or just apply work hours to it. So it's just absolutely crazy. I'm quite tired and almost burnt out. But the experience has been a lot of fun, and the fact that sometimes you don't build the models for a while, you don't touch models for a while, and then bang, you've got an instant 5 kits that are not too bad. It's very encouraging and reassuring. It also digs through the backlog a bit, so that's definitely a lot of fun. Good stuff. A little bit of sugar. Good stuff. I don't remember what we're talking about. So you see, when I slid my knife, caught in the nub, and I thought it slight. It sort of dragged a bit and would have teared it out. If it teared it, it would have left a hole. So I stopped. I didn't want to do that. Cut down instead. Chip away a bit. A little bit of a small mound. Glass file. Down a few directions. Randomize the scratching. And smooth it out with some smooth sandpaper. Easy, easy. Since that's aside, we'll give it a bit of a polish. It's quite an exposed bit, so a bit of 2000 grit. It's a warm day today. Might have to turn the fan on. Keep clean as we go. A bit of Matchbox INT LTD logo inside. That's kind of cool. It's going to be completely covered later, so a bit of a photo as a memento. Be interesting enough for the video. This orientation, the bottom detail is quite nice. Little notches, it just slides in perfectly. So we'll add our glues, cement, and extra quick. Extra quick I use as a cement accelerant. I'm a bit low on cement, so you'll see me bash it around a bit. I'll be buying a new bottle sometime soon. Tank modeling does use up a lot of cement over the other ones. Some modelers can go through a thing of cement for years. Some people can go through one in less than a year. The best thing about using this extra thin stuff, practically hardens immediately. Come on, wait, I didn't set properly. There we go. And we'll do the same for the other side. Application of cement, accelerant, and we'll be a bit smarter in how we put it on. We won't just put it in test fit, so we don't have a long time to play around. A little time, but not heaps. Whoopsie. We'll line up the notches, which is sandwich. There's a bit of a flare at the end and the front. Not sure if the plastic is warped or if it's actually like that. Play it by ear and see how it goes later. It's all beautifully in. Another good thing about extra thin is because the brush is so thin, if there's a bit of a gap, you can slide the brush in, slide through, and then press, and it can get glue in tight areas if something hasn't stuck down properly. Stick the brush in there, give it a bit of a lick, squeeze immediately, melts the two surfaces, dries, hardens straight away. So that's really cool. Now we've got about 1,000 of these little bits and we have to glue on. We'll do 41 first to save my sanity, and then we'll go it's 41, right? 41, that's 35, so that's a different piece. That's 41. Stick that on, and then we'll go crazy with the track work. It's working now. I think the new charcoal filter I've got works really well. Pretty happy about that. It's not too bad. It's a bit tart. I'm actually kind of liking it. Maybe it's not so flavorful because it's not so sweet. That could be the case for us. It's, works really well for us. After I'm done with tank week, starting tomorrow, I've got laundry, housework, all sorts of things. A lot of people ask, doing tank week, aren't you working or anything? I've worked a few days, half shifts and 2 full shifts of the night time, and that kind of almost undone me. So yeah, sleep is the thing that was sacrificed. When we're done, we're going straight into finishing Super Fumina, and I've got a 3D printed project done. I want to get Fumina done because that's a part of a big project. When that's off my chest, then my burden of stuff on the workbench is lightened, and many hours that I put into that project can finally be turned into a video and just put out there and not burden me whatsoever. So I'm just going to try to focus on that for a while. Being a scratch built project, there is a bit to do on it, but not too fast. How the fuck does that work? Yeah, I had it back to front. And it's got some sort of gap. That's alright. It's like welded armor or something. It is a pretty cool tank. Yeah, so far the fitting has been working out for me. This is probably the first traditional tank where you glue the tracks, you glue the wheels, glue the rubber all the way around. A lot of people don't like rubber tracks. It really bothers me. It doesn't have that, it's quite tight, doesn't have that good sag that you really want. We can always buff that when it dries, so not too worried about glue stains. But that was pretty sloppy to do on stream. Normally I wouldn't even do that in person. Is what it is. That, then I have the pointy bit down. And it fits beautifully. A little reinforcement glue. Make sure it all melts nicely together. We shall get into the suspension and the joiners of or the joeys or whatever they are. Is that cement or what? No idea now. I need to get a bigger bowl. It's far too small. It sometimes sucks up a bit of water. That's a bit of a hassle. Too many things are a hassle today. That's alright. Bit quieter this time of day. It's probably being a Sunday afternoon. People are probably out doing things, working, watching Netflix, whatever. Sunday does not seem to be the time to stream. No one's really online. Nor here nor there. That's alright. So playing around, I find I get really good receptions during the week of the evening, especially Monday. I'm still playing, toying, and thinking about when I'll do my big weekly stream, and it's getting closer to settling on doing it on Monday evening. Mornings have worked out pretty well too. Really early mornings. I've got quite a few people from the States, across Asia, but just sometimes when the whole world is just not really active, and right now I think that just happens to be the case. So it's still experimenting. I'm very, very new to this service. This mint green styrene is just really tripping me out. I mean, I've seen some very strange coloured styrene in the past, and I've seen one similar to this, more white from a Gundam. But yeah, it's trippy. It's not a common colour that you see in plastic, and when you see very vibrant and bright colours for your snap kits, you look at this and you're sort of like, ugh. Very, very strange. This thing's killing my sore throat. I feel a lot good and easy to talk and whatnot. That might have to be a common function or aspect to the stream. Takes away from awkward silences. Awkward silence, rip the hooker. It is what it is. And my hand's probably covering a lot of what I'm doing. And then you got to repeat the function on about 16 parts. So it's just about how, not only how neat you could do it, being quite a tedious step, and that one that's not going to be seen too well. Do it neat, do it quick. Don't dwell on it too much, because there's other aspects that need more important attention. Put too much important attention on something that's quite minute. By the time at the end you're fatigued and you just want, I want to get this project done. It's quite common in Gunpla where people are building master grades, perfect grades. It's called weapons fatigue. You build your big perfect grade, master grade, you spend many hours on it, you snapped it, painted everything. It's all snapped, ready to go to be pulled apart and painted, and then you look at the runners of about 1 billion weapons, more weapons it can possibly hold, and you go like, I can't be fucked building all these weapons, so you start building up runners of just many weapons. Normally, unless there's a way of attaching, displaying, or using all the weapons are only going to make the weapons that it's going to display with. Put it aside, because sometimes those weapons can be pulled out to be used on another kit that might just be suitable. And some of the bigger, more expensive kits with about 1 billion runners do have a tendency of just coming with every single type and variant of weapon, and people are more likely to play with their kits and display them and just snap them or build them all, and they just get hella fatigued after just building the model itself. That's the term, weapons fatigue. It's a term I heard coined a while ago on a forum, and I thought that was pretty clever. Or at least in the days when we still had modeling internet forums. And there you go, an anecdotal thing that I've noticed that you probably never heard of and thought, fuck, Alan's bullshit and whatever. But take my word for it. I probably spend too much time online. That's nor here nor there. There we go, beautifully smooth. I'm liking this file. Warm weather, there's flies and all sorts of annoying nuisances and shit. I'm hearing something buzz in my ceiling. Fucked up. There's a fly flying around here. And, yeah, not getting too interesting in, might dig up a story. Because what I'm doing, there's not much to it. It's pretty easy. Even the easiest of modelers can do it. And I've seen a few streams where people assemble and build tanks on Twitch, which is really cool. And I just, tuned in and go like, oh, that's all right. And I thought, yeah, just interact, muck around, have a bit of a shit talk. One of the experiments I'm probably going to do next week is I've got a 3D printed model, so a mobile armor or a spider tank from Double O, made by one of my viewers, and he sent me the file. I'm going to put the parts after I sanded it and everything, which is all done. I'll put the parts in a bamboo steamer and put a small shot glass of acetone at the bottom and let it just the vapors evaporate and float around in the steamer and melt the surfaces and soften the detail and just see how that works. I think that could be quite successful, but I think you have to do it on a fairly colder weather, so somewhere quite hot. It just evaporates really quickly, absorbs straight into the bamboo. Well, I'll wait for a time when it's probably night time, it's a bit chilly, and it evaporates very slowly and it lingers. I think that would get the best results. Though I suppose I could try some parts of the day and see if it just works fast or if it doesn't work at all. Applying acetone directly to a surface hasn't really worked out for me, but allowing vapors to just attack it for a period of time could work out very well. Dunking it and soaking it in acetone hasn't worked. I'm a bit skeptical if the vapor technique will work or not, but we'll find out. It's got little fine scratches and stuff from sanding. If it goes smooth, it goes smooth. If the scratches and the abrasions are still there, they're still there. The bamboo steamer cost me about $7-8 on eBay. Didn't spend a fortune. Doesn't work out, gets thrown out. Too easy. Hello, mate. How you going? Good to join us. If you've got anything to throw in, questions to ask, story requests, I'm going for it. I'm actually almost running out of points to talk about besides what I'm currently working on. Events is interesting. And normally I do, I'm a part and administrator of the Mecha Workshop Australia group. And we're a very, very old modelling mecha group that's been around since 2004, 2005. And my involvement was a little later, and especially the administration. And we're a real life club. We meet in person at cons and stuff and do workshops. It's not like a forum or something, Anyone can start a forum. It's harder to get any sort of activities happening in real life. So we used to meet at an event called Manifest, and they gave us a very small room and just gather, bring some bits box, build Zoids. Zoids was the rage at the time. Toys R Us and other shops. I'm sick. My stomach got a war on me. That sucks. Drink milk, man. Like, I'm sick and I feel got indigestion, feel like I'm going to vomit or hurl or tumble or whatever. Or just, really irritable. I drink milk. And the reason milk is it's an alkalinic beverage. It's not acidic. And normally your stomach's quite acidic and it gets more acidic and it's all fucked up. If you drink some milk, it's got a chance of just balancing the pH and just relieving the pain and the bullshit. And this is especially true and helpful because I get bad indigestion when I drink ample amount of alcohol. And go on a bender on a night, come back, sleep, wake up. Bit of a hangover, but the worst thing for a hangover for me is stomach ache. And so, drinking ample amounts of milk, I feel a bit better. Dissolve a bit of baking soda in water also works a treat, but I find it to be quite disgusting, so I don't do that unless there's no milk. But I have a tendency of finding milk. I don't like milk. I use anti-acid or stomach protection gel with Staph. Cool, man. That works. That completely works at all if you're not a big milk. I mean, like when I say people say I don't like milk, it's sort of like I don't like milk. It's not necessarily the flavour of the milk. I know milk sometimes gives people the shits, and then they've got a different stomach problem. Not necessarily that the flavour is not palatable. So yeah, maybe I should be giving medical or relief advice on Twitch while modelling, but that works. I can't drink it. If I drink it, my stomach is going to kill me. Yeah, and you'll be shitting through an eye of a needle or something, most likely. Some people just don't have a tolerance for consuming milk. And there's a lot of people out there like that. I know one guy, he just gets insanely sick if he just has a sniff of cheese. It's the whole dairy thing. Just everyone's got their own different kinks and quirks and stuff, and some people can almost just consume anything. It's very, very fascinating. Yeah, so very interesting. I usually get indigestion for milk. Here we can get true milk, not the 1% shit. Cool. I'm not a milk expert. I've got a good mate that works in the milk industry, and he does things like with servers and computers and stuff. And when milk becomes a big political debate, chatted to him about it like once or twice at a party. But yeah, and then there's issues with powdered milk and exports and whatnot. And I remember the baby formula debacle in China ages ago. Milk can easily be a hot button topic in all sorts of things. So when you go to the shops and you got 1,000, high calcium, this, processed, long life, non-long life, natural, farmer's milk, raw milk, more milk than you can poke a bloody stick at. I just get cheap milk, fat-free, because it's the milk I get. It's the cheapest, and it's just the taste. It's just right. I find the full cream stuff sort of a bit thick and creamy, and I don't know. It's just the milk that I've been grabbing for like so many years. I don't even think about it. I can only get almond milk and plains in my country. Sorry, I can only get armor and plains in my country. No Gundam or Mecha Kits. Nick from China is usually 99% toxic chemicals. Milk. Interestingly, I visited China and Beijing, and they've got sort of a lax, almost free market approach to food and whatnot. And as I'd go from shop to shop, supermarket to supermarket, I had a friend who chaperoned me, and he would tell me, you can consume that, you can't consume that, you can consume that, you can't consume that, and tell me all sorts of stories and stuff, and got me to read up on plastic rice and all that sort of stuff. It's just, you got to really look out for yourself and whatnot. And I was at this one shop, and I thought, oh man, there's a whole roast duck on a hook. And I was like, wow, how much is that? And it was something like 20-something yuan. And at the time, I think it was like 70 to 80 yuan was about $20. So it was about roughly, just to the top of my head, that duck, whole duck on a hook, worked out to be $7 to $8. And I was like, I'm going to sit there, I'm going to drink half a bottle of whiskey, I'm going to eat a fucking duck. My mate's like, don't eat that duck, it's got colorings and this and that. It's going to taste like garbage. Took me some other place, it's like $14. Yeah, that's still cheap. And yeah, got a whole duck on a hook, and I got very drunk watching state communist Chinese TV, eating a whole duck. Got really drunk. That was a good night. But yeah, only getting armor and planes in your country. I'll ask where you're from. That's always very interesting. Many years ago in Australia, we didn't really get Gundams, and the few 1-2 places would sell it were American imports, and they were just crazy, insanely expensive, and we just felt a bit undone by, and even considered turning to bootlegs. But there was efforts of buying local and expanding the local distributor, and eventually kept growing and growing, and it's quite lucrative. So it's worthwhile for shops to sell Gundam as cheap as possible, and it's almost competitive. In the city I'm from, Melbourne, there's more shops that actually sells Gundam now than there are that sells military kits, which is pretty good. Europe, near the Red Bear. Europe does. It's probably one of the driest places in acquisition of Gundam kits. I know the UK is starting to um, really grow their community and get in shops and whatnot and competitions and events and all that. But when you start heading more east, Italy has a big presence of Gundam and Gunpla. They're actually Gunpla Builders World Cup nation, and then importer pretty much for themselves and other local West European nations. But the more east you go, I can imagine it gets just more and more dry and harder to acquire, and also very expensive. So you'd probably have to rely on online dealers like Amy Amy or Hobby League Japan and all that. But then with the US currency, the Japanese yen, and shipping, that kills you. So in the end, it's almost what can you do? And unfortunately, I'm sitting here building a tank, and I'm enjoying my tank. And yeah, man, like whatever ways you can get your Gundam, you just get your Gundam how you can get it until a community and the markets develops in your country or not. And if there's any chance that you can help promote it, do it. It's definitely worthwhile. Don't think you don't really have much of an impact if you can sort of form something and petition hobby shop. Hey, get some Gundam kits and see what happens. Make some money. Yeah. Ah. So yeah, you just never know. I remember the news. I remember exactly where I was and who I was with when I was told that Australia would become a Gunpla Builders World Cup nation. It's sort of like, oh my god, and it was just a big thing. Some of my friends in the club talked about it for weeks and speculated and all sorts of stuff because there was like rumors of it, potentially coming to light, and then they had the official announcement, and that was just a big, that's a big time to celebrate. So just all you have to do is get your foot in the door and try to get one shop to import them, and it just snowballs from there if customers react to it. And normally, people who build cars and tanks and whatnot do enjoy it eventually. I could get my own kits printed, but cleanup is a mess. I need to get a finer tip on my 3D printer. If you've got the cash to splash, also have a look at SLA printers. There's a printer that's going to arrive at um, around $200 to $300, and it operates with a smartphone, and it comes with a few bottles of resin. And how it works is this glass box 3D printer fits around your smartphone, and it pulls small resin models out. So your 3D printer will print the large pieces, and then you get the resin smaller 3D printer, which is called the OLO, OLO. Yep. And They were a Kickstarter a while ago. It was very successful. Their product works quite well. They're releasing the Kickstarted printers January, February. I manage around March to May. It will be available online for the general consumer. When I get mine, I'll review it, play with it, 3D print, and do a few videos. By then, ample information on links, where to buy, will be known. And yeah, that could be a big advantage. Mixed media 3D printing. Fuck. And there's also 3D printing does work, but also traditional scratch building skills can also enhance. You know, you can print out very basic shapes and then use styrene and other shapes and stick them together and just build it up. And just mix things together, and the experience is pretty good. So I've got a bit of a problem with my throat, a bit congested and sore. It's feeling really good. It's been pretty shit for the past few days, but today's the best it's been. Haven't had to take painkillers or anything. It's just a tad dry. That's probably because I had a big smoke out last night. Did some pipes and stuff. I got some really good German shag, some really strong tobacco, and when you feel a bit congested and whatnot, smoking a bowl or two of that just clears me out. Shot of whiskey, and that could almost keep very minor colds and ailments at bay for quite a while for me. That's my. I still got to stop giving medical advice. I'm terrible, but yeah, that works quite well. Hope when this is done, it's just there's meant to be stuff glued on the back of that too. Oh no, wait, that's after I'm done with the running wheels and all that. That's like step 6. Cool, whatever. This thing's got a lot of steps. Probably get you to do something else on another part of the model so you can allow the other part you just glued to dry and whatnot. It's very considerate for the instructions to consider that. So they're all in. Do the other side. We'll take a photo before we get too carried away for our reference material. Pardon me. It's 5 o'clock. So yeah, I got to keep motoring. I want to have at least well past the wheel stage by 6. Or otherwise, I'm probably travelling a tad too slowish to meet the deadline, so I could spend more time doing the finer things such as painting and detailing, and not doing something as silly as road wheels. I could go for a whiskey. I might after the hour and a half, after the hour and a half period, I'll go help myself to a whiskey. I think that would be quite pleasant. Beautiful day. I'm looking outside. It's not a cloud. Like, it's sunny. It's really warm. Got a good smoke. Got a kit, man. Today's the dream day. We've been having some shocking weather of late, but just today is so lovely. I might even take a break from this stream or stop streaming around 7. Go for a bit of a walk or a ride or something. Before we keep going, it's just a bit of a waste to waste this sort of day. Ah, there we go. Bashing the glue. I think yeah, next week I just got to buy some more extra thin cement, grab some paints. I'm like out of German grey, which is like, Jesus, how can that happen? So hang on for a sec. The cat wish you to join us, or just yell at the door. Choice. It's good stuff. Didn't like it the first time I smoked it, but this time I'm sort of appreciating it a lot more. Running wheels. 47 and 44. So both 44, both 47. So that's the small rear wheels. Cut those out, clean it up, glue them together, do all the wheels. But before we do that, we spoke about this earlier, didn't we? We take a photo of where we're at, or we get too ahead of ourselves and we don't have enough reference material. Ashley, wait. Cat man, once in, then it once out. Come on. She won't bother me for a while. So that should work out. Kind of miss not building a traditional tank kit for a little while, which is not true. It wasn't that a little while ago. It was probably about 2.5 months ago. I don't know if I've released that video yet. I've got about a backlog of videos that hasn't been edited or released of tanks, some resin, some styrene. So after these 7, there's going to be like another 5. So there's going to be plenty of tank content as a backlog for people to watch and enjoy. And normally with my tank videos, it's quite interesting. A lot of my crowd is here for Gundam kits. And I'll do a Gundam video and I'll have a bunch of people, a few hundred watch it within a week or so. And then the views just stop. My audience consumed it, that's it. Do a tank. A lot of people, not their thing. They cherry pick content. It's kind of watched. And then the views just climb over a very long period of time, and then it starts going into the thousands. And I enjoy both, and I don't do the tanks because in the long run they just gross a shit ton of views. But it is fairly amusing that it does do that. So let's say, like, you compare Matchbox to Airfix and other manufacturers. Just Matchbox is the way to go about it. I think they are a slightly amount more superior in the armor department. This is coming to be quite a pleasant build. Okay. Nice and thick enough. You want the glue to go on wet, not sort of frosty or dry, because then it's the plastic is sort of drying and hardening before the two surfaces can come together. The joint will be very weak, especially if it's something that you're worried about a seam. You don't want that to be the case. You want it to be nice and strong and weld, because use the term cement or gluing or adhesion is a bit incorrect. It's probably where plastic welding or chemical plastic welding. It probably should be the more accurate term for this process. There we go. We'll glue two halves as we go. Nice and wet. Makes the plastic all melty. Stick it together. Allow it to harden. This piece is just not reacting. Bloody plastic's drinking the glue. There we go. That wasn't important. 50 and 52. Cut it so we got nice, obvious nub marks. Easy to cut, easy to sand, because at least you can see where it is and what we're doing. Already glued together. Gonna chuck on a bit of music. It's a bit quiet. Too quiet. There we go, it's not too loud. So over my talking and other bullshit, the music won't be too noticeable. It's some nice jazz. Normally listen to when I'm modelling. It's documentaries, instructional tutorials of non-modelling natures, more technical stuff, CNC machines or mechanical engineering, and political commentary. Been listening to a lot of late. Haven't cut out the other piece yet. So wondering if I have lost a piece. It's not been the case. I just forgot to cut it out because I was tuning the radio. And we've got about the billion of the other road wheels to assemble and glue. It is what it is with the tank. And when it's a really bad, more Eastern European design, Zavara or whatever, you could be there forever test fitting and gluing and cutting wheels out and whatnot, and the joints just not quite being right, the instructions being very vague. All that could be quite a boner killer. So then you come across and you pull out a model that's just a bit unique and it's not widely attempted by other modelers. I'd much rather go for something a lot easier and a lot more fun to build. Depending on their scale, their method, their madness, all that. Sometimes older kits are just not attempted, period, due to the stigma of it not being accurate or being extra work. Don't mind the extra work. It'd be a lot of fun. And being willing to run through the extra work, you just got something that other people don't build all that too often. Some people look at it and work off by memory when they built it many years ago, or you just come across another one-off fan of just really old kits. There we go. And there are communities and groups out there of people that gather, build, and share old kits. They can be quite fun to be with. A lot less serious, a lot more laid back. It's just, yeah, it's a more pleasant crowd to be around. Excellent. So I'll glue these together. Very slow process. And it's 2 more wheels done. 2 done, or 4, yeah, 4 sets of wheels done. 10,000 to go. Such a pain. But it is what it is. It's tedious. That's not bad. If you wanted to get through this quicker, you can get one of those God Hand ultimate nippers. Cut it really close to the part. Just go nip, 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 glue, nip, 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 glue. It's not that much of a hassle. I'm a bit more old-fashioned. I rather get the slow, traditional method. And at least there's video evidence of such. So, cutting away, cutting away. And the glass file will bail us out and getting the sides of the wheels nice and flat. But we don't sand too hard and too much because you remove the curved edge to the point where there's a flat. And that could, it won't be noticeable if it's tiny, but if you go too far and it's just like a bit of a chip off, and then you add extra mistakes here and there and something crooked, and it just accumulates to mistakes against you in a build being finished. Yeah, it's about half done. It's almost one whole runner cleared. The other runners have some quite large pieces, so that's too much of a hassle. Just check. If anyone has just joined the stream, hello. I'm the Mokanaman, Alan, from Australia. Pardon me. We are doing our last day of Tank Week, starting Monday. Monday during the week. I've built and finished the tank every day till today, Sunday, and made a YouTube video and streamed as often as I could. I tried to stream every day, but that got a bit tricky between work and whatnot. So in the links down below, you'll find my YouTube channel if you're not familiar with me there, and you can see 6 tank builds of different manufacturers, types, and styles, including resin and metal. Some fairly rare subjects. And today is the last build number 7, a Challenger by Matchbox, 1/76 scale. Very, very rare subject matter. Some of these Matchbox kits can fetch on eBay for up to $80 to over $100. They're just not made anymore. However, and it may not be very well known, they are reboxed and re-molded by Revell. And it's the runners are virtually identical except for the colors, and it's got more modern and higher quality decals. So if you wish to see what one of these kits are like firsthand, you just have to look at the 76 scale series of Revell, an older subject, and generally you can tell by the box art if the model looks very modern and photographic and whatnot, opposed to a model that's an old-fashioned paint job scheme box art. If the clerk at the shop allows you to open it and inspect the runners, the older kits are noticeable by having a small terrain included, and these sort of looping tracks. So that gives you all the information you need to know that it is a former Matchbox kit. Though, if you look at some online reviews and whatnot of Revell kits, generally whoever builds them will tell you. Or if you look up the Matchbox catalogue and the number and tank subject just lines up and it's 76 scale, you're winning. But generally, I think the more modern tanks are 72nd, so it's not too hard at all. Okay. Now sandpaper just nicely contours around the circle and cleans up what the file leaves behind. Definitely going to be at this for a little while doing the same repetitive function. Still thinking about getting that whiskey or not. That's alright. Beautifully cleans up. There you go. Made some jerky at the start of the week. Went to Footscray Market in Melbourne. It's a large it's a large ethnic suburb between South Africans and the Vietnamese community, and they've got a large marketplace, and which actually back in the 70s actually used to be a very heavy manufacturing area with a large shopping mini city CBD like nature to it, quite Slavic in nature. So the ethnicities change around, and it's just different. Very, very cultural. Some excellent shops. So went to the market in the butcher section. You can get some pretty exotic meats and birds and whatnot to buy and eat. I'll sell you almost anything. And they had a donkey on special. Not donkey. Goat. Sorry. I don't know why I'm thinking about donkey. A goat on special. So I bought 1.5 kilos of goat. Chopped the fat off. I marinated it with uh, Texas style smoked liquid smoke, barbecue sauce, a bit of honey, and paprika and some seasoning. They had that to marinate overnight, and had the meat chopped in fine chunks. So when they dehydrate, they come into small pellets, and they're very, very crunchy, opposed to being more chewy and larger. And it's got more chances of coating and absorbing the marinade. So I dehydrated that for a slightly overloaded dehydrator. I allowed that to dehydrate for something like 14 hours. And it just made the most beautiful, crispy, delicious jerky. Now, goat meat is quite gamey, and almost got this oily consistency or texture to it. So it's a different type of thing to eat, but it's really, really lovely in pan frying, or because it's got a high fat content. But if you cut the fat off, it tastes really, really good jerky. And yeah, it's got a nice big tub of it in the kitchen. It's been a nice snack every now and then. Had a friend come over, a guy named Eddie. Love the dude. He's a big guy, and he just reacts to things like way over the top. So I said, try my homemade meat. He's like, yeah. It's like, oh, it's really good, isn't it? It's like, it's really, really hard. It's really, really good. And I was like, what is it? I'm like, you have to guess the animal. It was like, beef, nah. And it's like, lamb, nah. Pork or chicken, nah. You get sick if you turn that into jerky. And then it was like, oh no, I'm going to be sick. I don't know what it is. And it was like, oh, I was like, what's a goat? And then he just loses his fucking shit. He's squealing and laughing, and wow, the reaction was over the top. It was funny as. And then he settled down, and he was like, oh, it's a bit gamey, but I like it. But I've never had goat before, and I had goat without being told it's a goat. And I was like, yep. Do enjoy cooking and whatnot. It's pastime I do. Might cook during the week. I like doing roasts and barbecues and stuff like that, though I do quite a few vegetarian and veggie dishes. Occasionally, a few times a year, what I'll do for about a month, I'll do like a challenge health thing. I'll weave off sugars and fats and meats, and do a fairly healthy, regimental vegetarian diet for a month straight. And it's sort of like a bit of and cut out alcohol and smoking. So I actually don't smoke too much. It's more for the social reasons. And yeah, I'll just go hard in being as behaved and whatnot in not eating meat, junk, anything. Nothing fried, nothing sugar, nothing sweet. It's vegetable dishes, sandwiches, rice, stuff like that. Stir fries. Because that's a challenge, it would for me to challenge me to shop in different areas, look at some more exotic vegetables and other things, sauces, different methods of cooking. It's just a really good challenge, even when you're busy or you've got a lot to do. The heat's starting to die out on that. So, but the flavour's also disappearing a bit. I might have gotten close to spensing my shisha. That's alright. Whatever. It is shisha, it's not hashish. For those that know what I'm referring to. Nothing dodgy going on here. Gotta remember to always keep things on camera. You guys are watching as well. Oh, don't drop it. Don't want to lose any parts. It's making road wheels. Road wheels for days. I think the accuracy of this model is not really in question. It is one of the later Matchbox kits. I think it's yeah, it's not bad at all. Might have to display it and pull out the old Airfix Chieftain, build that and display it side by side. Yeah. Gonna have to do a challenge stream at one point. So gotten streaming sorted down. I want to do a stream challenge one day. See how that goes. Just sit down, build a kit, one stream, see how far and how long I go for. It'd be like some awkward silences and breaks and other things, but it's not saying, I'm only here for 2 hours, but I'm going to try to fill the airways and entertain and talk and inform as much as I can. Do like a really long one and only react when people are in the audience. Not expect that when I upload it, people are going to come and suss it out. I suppose it's also a different sort of record of a different part of the internet on the slower methods from start to finish on building a model. How I go about it from step by step, minute by minute, second by second. That's why I need to get this thing over at the airbrush booth as soon as I can. So at least, at different pockets on different models, you get a rough idea of, every step. What's my thinking? What's my methods? What's my madness? Yeah, that's being worked on, but with 1,000 things to do, plus cleaning and responsibilities, yeah, it just gets added to the pile, doesn't it? Too easy, too easy, too easy. I'm getting a bigger water pipe later on. It's going to be great. Water pipe, a small torch, method of disposing the ash. And then I can put it in like gardens and shit later. Pot plants. It just works. As soon as these wheels are done, then it just speeds up. For now, nice and slow and steady wins the race. Alright. It's just a bit of a reminder when you cut nubs and whatnot, you're cutting down for leverage. And the best cut, as close to the tip as possible, not down the back end. Stays sharper for longer and you got more control. It's a better cut. It's all about leverage. Best way to use a knife. It's the same when you're eating. It's the same when you're stabbing a guy in the face. Cut down, not at the tip, not at the bottom, but just slightly off down from the very tip. And that's where you get your best cutting point. Don't stab people in the face. Ah. Done. I have a bit of a sticky beak. I'll do another stream on Monday. Seems to be the time to stream. I'm a bit quiet, mostly due to drawing a mental break. I'm actually just a bit relaxed and just enjoying the atmosphere. Playing a little music was not the best plan. It's just chilled me out. A little chamomile tea and I'll almost fall asleep. Not good for the last day of tank week. Need to get this done, but not just done and just rush and not care. Get it done good. Do a decent job. Something that's worthwhile putting up on YouTube. Putting some pictures out there to go take to a competition. So close to getting the road wheels done. So that's practically stream on, bottom, road wheels, 2 hours. That is absolutely hilarious. As if I was more of a serious Twitcher and did the whole War Thunder or World of Tanks or whatever, I could sit there and talk about the game and the tactical situation of this model kit, which is a bit redundant because it's a modern kit and I don't think applies to those games. But yeah. Suppose at least it's a kick for some to come in, have a peek, and go, live work. Might be able to see that video later. Jump out. Novelties like that. That's cool. Happy to do it. Happy to oblige. Um, see how far we can take the channel, definitely. Heard that rattle. Should not be as rough dropping it or whatnot. Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely dying down. I'll hit it a few more times and call it quits, I guess. No, some hot coal. Might have to just make it so it comes down to the bottom. There we go. That's a bit warmer. It's probably needed a bit of a stoking. One day in the stream, I'll show you even how to load one up and smoke one. That'd be kind of cool. uh, I'd make for interesting entertaining. There's a bit of flash around the top end here, so I'm gonna have to sand it all the way around so it's nice and flush with the whole wheel. Hey, Jesus Christ. It's wheeled like 2 meters away. Lucky I saw that at the edge of my light. Edge of my eye is exactly where it rolled, and it actually rolled, or otherwise it'd been quite a while. You seem a little bit off today. Are you okay? I got a bit of a sore throat. Nothing too serious. I've actually was a bit unwell for a couple of other days, and I'm just kind of relaxing a bit. But yeah, thanks for your well-being. I'm feeling all right. The reason why is I've just finished a semesters of work, and I do a bit of teaching, and I do seasonal entertainment work, and sort of everything builds up, more work, less sleep, you do crazy stuff, and it just suddenly ends, and your body goes in shock, and you normally get quite sick or something. And I did started feeling a bit of a cold coming in, and I thought to prevent me going into shock and getting a cold, as you always do at the end of the year, I picked up this YouTube project and thought I just got to keep busy, build models, but ease into the holiday season when I'm only working a few days a week. And yeah, I'm just relaxing. Yeah, it's fucking spent. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong. I've been talking for yeah, about started a broadcast and then just started dropping off until about the hour 15 minutes point. And as yeah, I dropped a couple of people that just came past to say hello. Gave the talking bit a bit of a rest. At the moment, I'm building the Matchbox Challenger 76 scale, and yeah, we'll get it done and up there. It's a kit from 1988. It's very well proportioned, detailed, and it comes together quite nicely. Uh, the road wheels and suspension does come in all separate parts. It is a bit lengthy to build, so it's a few hours in cutting it up, putting it together, gluing it, and all that. Though that's not too bad. I got a very nice day. Got a little jazz music. I've just spent my shisha, so I've just run out of coals. It's all burnt out. And when that completely cools down, I'll put that away. And the best thing for me when I get a sore throat and close to a cold is I have a shot or two of drink, whiskey or something, bit of a smoke, and that just clears out the throat beautifully. It's not very healthy to do. I don't recommend other people doing it, but yeah, it's what to do. Could go for a sleep. I might go for a bit of a nap today in between building this. Go down for 45 minutes or something. If I release the video late, I release the video late. It's like no sweat off my balls or anything. I'm not going to risk being uncomfortable or not having fun in the completion of the project, but I am definitely enjoying myself. So, yeah, definitely keeping myself busy and been doing this for 6 days opposed to falling sick and staying in bed for 6 days. I think has been a very good idea. And normally for a project, you do a bit, do something else, you procrastinate. I set a soft deadline, and it's kept me on my toes. And there's some content out there. I can say that my week that's been really low on work has been super productive. Don't get too lazy. I can quickly get lazy. Unfortunately, I'm either on the two extremes when it's work and whatnot. This half of the year, I'm working 2 jobs, and the 2 jobs will clash. So I'll do like a 14, 16-hour day, and that would be Tuesdays, Wednesdays. I'll wake up early in the morning, go to one job, do several hours there, have a small break, go to the other job, several hours there, go home. Then other days I do my day or half day, and at the end it equals up to 40 hours. But near the end of the week, I get 3 to 4 days off instead of just 1 or 2 days off weekend. And then when the weekend comes around, I'll do some modelling and work on my other things and hobbies and whatnot. And when I hit holidays hard, and when I got the semester mid-break, I had 2 weeks off. I spent like the whole first week doing nothing. I just did absolutely nothing. A bit of shopping, saw some family, saw some friends, and the rest of it was sleeping, TV, and a bit of exercise. And it's sort of like, I got no modelling done. So this, I thought, you get nothing done, or I built 7 tanks in 7 days, which I thought wouldn't have actually been very hard. I way underestimated it. I think if I just did only 3 or 4 tanks, that would have been quite comfortable. This, I've been at the modelling desk every day for between 7 to 9 hours. I got to say, I've really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. And just talking through all that, done all the road wheels. Yay! One last pull. Nah, it's gone. It's dead. And that's dead too. I got another left to smoke. That's alright. Um, so how does this work? So, okay, cool. We gotta. Also, I've been using. I bought this glass file from the $2 shop. Or my friend did and gave me one. Oh, sweet! These come off. These gems are stupid. And I find them to do a really good file job. I've been really impressed with it. I'm not sure if it's going to be a fad. I'm just going to use it for a few kits and put it away if I'm going to keep using it. But it's been working out for me so far. Wouldn't write home or make a video about it, but yeah, it's just something I was never aware of. Cleans really nicely under solvents or water, and shit doesn't get stuck into it as easily. So I'm going to glue bloody half a dozen wheels together. Chuck them on the running gear. Finish the page of stuff to do. There's like 1 or 2 things to glue on. I'll take a bit of a break. Make a sandwich. Have a nap. Sounds like an awesome plan. Love holidays. It's just the stress levels are just so far down. But then it's just a shock of your mind state and your stress levels and your consciousness of where you have to be and what you have to do. It just is. It's in shock. I'm sort of in still the suspension of disbelief that my workload is just dramatically shrunk. I'm not on complete holidays, but it's just operational stuff. And even when I go to work, there's just very little to do. It's just supervising and observational stuff. So it's just rock up, do a little bit of stuff, and I'm just pretty much observing other people working. I normally bring like a few small things to do, edit a video, online stuff, club stuff, paperwork for other things, especially the administration of the Mecha Workshop. I've been buying and selling things for the local modelling community. I've been selling some people airbrushes and toys and small kits and stuff. That's been doing pretty well. Found a few contacts online to assist me with that. does look like with some of the projects I've got on the go and whatnot, entering the hobby industry is highly possible. Got an AVG pop up saying to reset the computer. That thing can fuck off. Easy. There's a big gunpla community breakup party that occurred in Sydney last night. Fortunately, I had a car breakdown, so I didn't have money though. I don't think I had much means to attend. Saw Facebook posts of all my good mates over there partying and having a good one, walking down George Street, having a drink at the Hobby Co. It was a bloody awesome party. I'm really glad you guys had a good time. Happy birthday yesterday to Master Kawaguchi of Bandai. I sent him some wishes. He seems very keen to come down to Australia again. Can't wait for that. It is so much fun to be around. His modelling is just superb when he does his live demonstrations and whatnot. Really, really enjoy his content. I'm just watching him live model is many years ago. Even before I knew who he was, I just saw some videos of him doing it. It just inspired me into doing tutorials. So he is my major inspiration. And then seeing him, getting to meet him in person, and then seeing him do a live demonstration opposed to a polished cut corporate video presentation was also awesome. And it's sort of like, man, we've got to do the Twitch thing, we've got to do other things. He is so fast when he works. He talks about speed, and I'm thinking, well, speed, you got to be neat as well. And then he works really fast, yet works really fast and neat and modifying and whatnot, and just shocking amount of time of a lapse of 45 minutes. He gets a few steps done, a few modifications. It's just absolutely wild to watch. And here I am, 2 hours in track wheels. I think it doesn't matter how good you are unless you're using God hands and other tools and just going absolute premium. You can't escape tank wheels. 35th, it's just slower and easy going. 70 seconds due to their size. It's just a bit frustrating. It's probably the only downside of tank modeling. Doing all of my S models and Pegasus and resin kits and single part tracks and whatnot, I avoid it a lot. But for a certain subject or a kit, I don't mind returning to it from time to time. I just don't want to do it for every kit I've ever built. I've built, finished and displayed almost 50 models, just tanks, 50, 70-second tanks, over that number. Doing individual road wheels for every single one of them would be, hell. Especially if they come across a lot like a Dragon kit. 70-second Dragons hit and miss. Most of them are miss, and they miss hard. Sometimes just a scaled down version of the 35th kit, and when you get a scaled down version of the 35th kit, you're not in for a good time, especially for instructions and just fitting. And especially if it's just a raw scale down, you might face some warpage and miscalculations of the actual scaling, where some parts just purely don't fit and needs reworking. And I'm building frame arms girls, and I was working on one of those, the Gorai. I just had a great time. Just doing the base build come out perfect. And then I'm building the extra bits to copy the box art. It was all fine until the last step, which was a bit of the leg armor stocking, and that just had a fitting that was just, it was shit. And to make things worse, it didn't fit, wouldn't click, wouldn't snap, and it said to glue, but I can't even see how it'll glue accurately. That peeved me off because I'm just almost done except for one step, because I've been working on this thing on and off for a couple of months, especially when I'm on the go. And I want to paint it and see it done because it's really, really cool and share it with you guys. But then I'm going to have to spend like an hour or so modifying it and adding a magnet or a snap joint or a button ball or something. Fuck off, fly. There's a bit of heat, so I can't throw it out. I'm going to have to let it sit there and cool. So, truck wheels are done. Photo time. I made a small mistake. Oh well. It's not too noticeable. We'll fix this problem. We always do. You ever wondering why I'm bashing the glassware? It's because it's almost empty and I'm trying to get some cement to splash on the brush. I need to buy a new one and just top it up, but I haven't gotten around to doing that. I go past the hobby shop like twice a week. Didn't even consider it. Didn't even fathom of picking something up. Shits me to tears, but it is what it is. Some people are lucky to visit a hobby shop in person like once a month or once every few months. I'm definitely very spoiled, but I've always had that opportunity since I was young, so. Okay. Just keep going. There we go. Some running gear. Quick look. Too easy. I've used some super glue as well to make sure that it adheres really well. It's not a problem, not a biggie at all. It's a bit past 6, but I'm almost there, so it's good enough for me. This is the Churchill. You had these tiny tank tracks, so everything was on these tiny little wheels. Now, because they're only on these really thin plastic joeys, and they're sitting on these tiny plastic pegs, and this fits very loose. When we stretch the tracks across them, they're going to move around, cause problem, cause shit, all sorts of things. Even though the cement is extra thin, sorry, not extra thin, extra quick, the strength's not going to be quite there. So we're going to add some super glue and reinforce them so they stay really, really rigid. We're also going to let the tracks rest for a while well before. Make sure they all touch the ground. As so. Super glue. And then we reinforce it. It's not for gluing, it's just for strengthening. Always look down the needle of them in case they're clogged, because you squeeze them, instead of going out, it goes backwards and all over your fingers. Experienced that one too many times. You can do it just in the back where the glue buildup is not going to be noticed whatsoever. That one's extra soft. It's a bit troublesome. Extra glue. There's always sometimes that one piece that just never reacts to cement and just will not harden for ages. And the super glue just coats the outer end, it just rigidens it up and firms it all up, so it just works out well. Very cool. Photo time. Oh, you're joking. That's weird. 45, 46. Alright, we'll do that now while we're at it. More wheels, and you don't add it until after everything's done. That's just bizarre. That is seriously bizarre. Oh well. So, I've gotten over 2 hours without any major issues. It's good. I always get a bit disappointed when I can't get over the 2 hour mark on a stream. Unless I'm just doing a quick sporadic one. And 46. I'm sanding and flattening the top where it's going to be visible from the side, opposed to the areas where the nubs actually were, where they're going to be hidden. There's a bit of a flash mark there. Nothing too serious. Tweezers. That was a pain in the ass. Now with all this done, it'll be nice and dry and hardened, so I don't have to sneak it under the freaking road wheels, which would be an absolute pain to do. It's going to be all nice and dry and hardened for that. There we go. One more bit. Reinforce the super glue. $12 and $13. Okay. So I'll have to glue those last. It's a bit hard to figure out exactly where they go. We'll do the back end, and we'll call it a done stream. Nice close cut, so you don't even get a nub. That can glue straight on. Nice and wet coat. It's getting a bit dry in the end. Stab it with the knife. Sticker on. 21, which is that one, I think. Yeah. This one's a bit of a tricky fit. Let's put some cement in there and see what we can do. Alright, that was a pain in the ass, but it looks good. Oh shit, spilled a bit. That's alright. We'll slightly reinforce it with super glue. Also, we'll fill any seams there are. 48, 48. I think I remember where that part was. And I remembered correctly. Okay, we're almost there. Oh God. Two more bits and almost there. Well, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, this Tank Week, this has been a stream. I think it's been okay. Been a bit quiet here and there, but it is what it is. and I've had a lot of fun. See you all later.